I sat in front of my supervisor, Carol, tears streaming down my face. I was up all night last night because Earl told me he's going to leave me and the kids penniless. How can I even start to raise my children on my income when they're so used to his? And Carol sat there and she listened to me. I said, yeah, I'm 35 years old, but I have never lived on my own. I don't know how to fix a car. Earl always does that. I don't know how to fix things around the house. Earl always does that. What am I going to do if he actually leaves me? And Carol smiled and she looked at me and said, Cindy, your life is your choice. I thought, you're crazy. Nobody, but nobody would want the life I was living at that time. You see, I was not raised in a Leave It to Beaver home. Even though we might have looked like your typical average middle-class family of the 60s, we were far from it. Everybody thought that Dad was this happy, fun-loving, boisterous man, but in reality, he was completely the opposite. You see, I was sexually, physically, and mentally abused. We all lived under my father's tyranny at home. Then at the age of 18, I got married to a man much like my father, minus the sexual abuse. That's all that I knew. And so as I sat there thinking about what Carol told me, all of the heartache that I had experienced in the previous 2 years came flooding through my thoughts. You see, my mom, who was my very best friend, died suddenly, followed by my grandmother, followed by my father. We also had 5 other members of our immediate family pass away, including a brother-in-law that was murdered. To top it off, my teenage daughter was extremely rebellious and she started getting involved with gangs. Nobody would want my life. I was in so much pain. I was so depressed. I wanted the pain to end and I just felt hopeless. Every single day I would contemplate ending my life. How could I do it? Where would I do it? Because I could not handle the pain that I was experiencing. And so whenever Carol said that my life was my choice, I thought, didn't choose for everybody to die. I didn't choose for Earl to fall in love with me or to get involved with another woman. And I especially did not want my teenage daughter involved with gangs. She was crazy. She had no idea what she was talking about. But Carol seen my pain and she loved me and she put me under her wings. She bought me Tony Robbins tapes. She told me books to read. And she constantly asked me questions that would get me to think differently than I'd ever thought before. She would say, what would you do if Earl actually left you? Where would you live? How would you take care of your children? Who would fix your cars? Who would fix things around the house? What would you do? And I started envisioning a life where I was choosing it. You see, up until that point, every decision I ever made was never mine. I always had to know how to act, what to say, based on what my father told me and based on what Earl told me. So I had never really made a decision on my own. I just felt like everybody else knew what was better for my life than me. But Carol, she really didn't give up on me. I used to always tell her, Carol, you are the next best thing to my mother. I mean, I loved her that much, and I would not be the person I am today without her because of her guidance and her love and her support. I wouldn't be the woman standing before you. I would not be living a life of my choice. I would not have a healthy marriage, and I would not be a successful business owner with a fun and profitable business that I love. It all started with her. You may have experienced some of the same things that I have. You may have experienced that despair, the hopelessness. You may have been bullied. You may have been abused. You might have been lied to. We've all been there. But I am here to tell you that your life is your choice. So today I'm going to be sharing 3 steps for you to start living a life of your choosing. So the first step is to make peace with your past. So consider the following story. There's two monks taking this long journey, and they come across this big wide river, and there's a lady sitting next to it sobbing. And the older monk says, "My dear, why are you crying? What's wrong?" She goes, "I need to deliver these goods across the river, but I can't cross it. The water's too deep, and I'll get my dress all soiled, and I'll ruin the goods that I'm supposed to deliver." So the monk picked her up, and he gently carried her across the river and sat her down, and continued on his journey. A couple miles down, the younger monk, he just couldn't contain it anymore, and he looks at the older monk and says, "How could you pick up that woman? You know that we are not supposed to touch a woman, and you touched a woman. You broke the rules." And he said, "My son, I put her down a long time ago. When are you going to let her go?" You see, that's how our past is. We hold on to that anger. We hold on to the grief. We hold on to everything, and we blame everything that is happening in our lives on our past. So to let it go, you need to rewrite it. You can never change it. It happened. Everything that happened to me happened. Everything that happened to you happened. But you can rewrite it with just the facts and nothing but the facts. Whenever you write your past with just the facts and nothing but the facts, you're letting go of the emotion that you have connected to your past. You'll know that you've healed once you're able to tell your story without feeling the same emotions that you had when the incident happened. I've done it, and you can definitely write your past. So I urge you all to think of your own past and think how you can rewrite it, because your life is your choice. The second step to live a life of your choosing is to let go of the shoulds. So what are the shoulds? When you have a should, you wake up in the morning and you feel really, really, really good. You feel loose, you feel relaxed, and you're excited for this brand new day. But you start saying, "I should have gotten up earlier." And the stress tenses up, and everything gets tighter. And then you go, "I should make 10 sales calls today," and it gets tighter. "I should phone a friend today," it gets tighter. "I should clean up my house today," it gets tighter. And pretty soon you have that rope so tight that you're walking around tired. And you haven't even done anything, and you're completely unmotivated to do anything. So why are we always saying, "I should do this," or "I should do that"? Whenever you're saying that, you're judging yourself, and you're making yourself wrong. And you're not wrong if you don't do something you don't want to do. This is why we so often say yes to things we don't really want to do. About a year after I left Earl, his niece calls me up, "Aunt Cindy, I'm getting married. I want you to my wedding." "Well, you know, sweetie, I really don't think I should be there with all of your family. You know, I'm not a part of it anymore." "But Aunt Cindy, you've been my aunt since the day I was born. Please, please, please come to my wedding. It would mean so much to me." So the morning of her wedding, I'm getting dressed, and my husband's like, I was dating him at the time. He's like, "Why are you going?" I go, "I have to go. I should go because it's going to make Vivian happy. I need to make her happy." And he's like, "You don't need to do anything you don't want to do." I said, "Yes, I do. I have to go." So I went to the wedding and had a miserable time. Earl's family was not happy to see me. I got questioned several times why I even made a presence. But whenever we're shoulding ourselves, we do things like that. So you need to let go of the shoulds, and you need to ask yourself and know. Every time you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. And so often we are saying no to ourselves. We're saying no to our peace of mind. We're saying no to the people we love. And we're saying no to our business. So the second step, again, to live a life of your choosing, is to let go of the shoulds and start saying yes to you. The third step to live a life of your choosing is to identify the lies you're telling yourself. We lie to ourselves every single day. Years ago, in June, I turned 48. And then in July, my nephew comes over, and I say, "Gee, Marty, you're going to be the big 4-0 next month." "No, Aunt Cindy, I'm going to be 39. "Marty, don't lie to me. I know how old you're going to be. I was 8 years old when you were born. You're going to be 40. "Aunt Cindy, I'm going to be 39. His kids are behind him. "Aunt Cindy, really, he's going to be 39. "No, he's not." My husband's like, "Cindy, don't you think that Marty knows how old he is?" "No, he's just trying to pull the wool over my eyes because my family loves to make me believe things that simply are not true." So I sat there and I argued with Marty for an entire hour. For 60 minutes, I'm arguing with this kid, telling him he's lying to me about how old he is. Finally, he stands up and he pulls his wallet out of his pants, pulls his license out. "Aunt Cindy, look at the year I was born. You tell me how old I'm going to be." I look at the license and I'm like, "Holy crap, you're going to be 39. I would have bet somebody $1 billion that he was going to be 40. But it got me wondering, what else was I lying to myself about? What were these truths I believed that simply were not true? One of the beliefs was that a lot of business owners have, being on email and being on social media all day is building my business. It wasn't. What I discovered I wanted to do and what I chose to do was start creating real relationships and start focusing on money-making activities to build my business. The second thing, which I think a lot of us have, is I thought I had to be perfect for people to know, like, and trust me. So I always tried to, especially from my past with Dad and Earl, tried to put on this certain persona. And I was putting across that I wasn't real, and people spotted that real quick. But once I just let loose and started showing people me, and I started being vulnerable, quirks and all, and mispronunciations and all, I found that people started really being attracted to me. They started knowing, liking, and trusting me, and my business boomed. So I encourage all of you to spend 15 minutes and really think about what a life and business of your choosing will look like. Write it down and then start taking action to choose your life, to create a life of your choosing. And follow the 3 steps. Make peace with your past. Let go of the shoulds and start saying yes to you. And identify the lies you're telling yourself and choose a truth that you want to believe, a truth that's going to help you get where you want to go. So remember, your life is your choice. Start living it today.